So I've opened up a new TinkerCAD file, a new create file that I can tinker with, and I've already changed the name here. So it's now, I just typed in what yours should be. So you type in your last name, first initial, the project name, which is Keychain, and then the class period 2. And that'll help identify these when we're doing the actual printing on the 3D printers. So that's step 1. Step 2 then is to change this work plane, because right now this work plane has different settings. So down here in the bottom right, we're going to click settings, and our project is actually written in millimeters. So let's change from the units from inches to millimeters. And then we're going to change the width to the size of the keychain. The maximum size is 50 by 50. Oops, 50. Okay, and then we can close settings, and you can see that really shrunk down. But now we know that if you don't go past this, because this is actually the size of your keychain. It'll help you with the build. Next thing, we're going to build the slab, the thing we're going to build everything else on. So we're going to grab our little red square here. By the way, you can change colors on this. It doesn't change the color of the printing. It just changes kind of if you're trying to figure out and see things, you can change the colors. I highly recommend that you don't change them all into the same color because it's really hard to see. All right, this, based on the instructions we have, is going to be 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters. So I can actually just kind of drag this out and see if I can get it to be 50 and 50 exactly. And if I can't, let's see, 49. There we go, 50 and 60, a little too far. All right, that's 50. Let's just type these in. So I need 50 and I need 50. Now my keychain is the right size, length and width. Okay, but now we need to change its height. So I'm using a mouse that helps me do a lot of other moves that it might be difficult if you're just using the pad on your Chromebook, but so you're welcome to grab a mouse. So this depth needs to be no thinner than 5 millimeters and no thicker than 6 millimeters. And that's because that at less than 5 millimeters, this becomes too thin and fragile. And greater than 6 millimeters, it tends to be chunky and hard to put in a pocket if that's what the person that that's your plan. So I'm gonna put this so I can see the front view, and I can click this white button, which is at the top, and then just pull this down until it reads. I'm gonna keep it at the 6. Okay, again, you could just type that in, and now we are in the right spot. Excellent. So we have what we call the slab, and now we're going to put a hole, which will be where we'll put the ring for our keychain. So let's bring a cylinder out here, and I can leave it out here to kind of do some changes to it. Our hole should not be any smaller than 5 millimeters. That would reduce the amount of space you have for the ring, and you don't want to go much farther than 5 millimeters because then you're going to take up a lot of space here, and you make a weaker edge here. So I'm going to click on that, and on that white square, I'm going to bring those both in until they both read 5, unless I get fresh. Oh, there's 6. Well, why don't we leave it 6? Okay. Now, the height of this doesn't matter because it's a hole. It's going to go all the way through. So I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to bring it over onto my slab. I can right-click my mouse and see that it's not going all the way through, so I want to do that in a minute. But I also want to take a look at it from the top. So this is a pretty good position. I can visually see that it's not in the center. So I can move, I'm going to need to move that around a little bit. So grab it here and shift it over. I also can use my arrow keys to move things around, okay, which sometimes makes things easier to manage. And do I like that spot there? Let's see. Oops. Undo. Okay. And yeah, I like that well enough. And now I'm going to click this. I'm going to bring this down, but it's put we can bring that down like that. So it sticks out the bottom. This is the only thing that really can stick out the bottom for this portion so that we can actually see the hole and have the hole go all the way through our slab. So what we're going to do now is you're going to click and highlight the whole, click and drag so you highlight the whole thing. And now we're going to use this button right here, which is called group. Group is the way you hold pieces together that you don't want to shift or move anymore, and if you want to see how the holes are working. So now I've got that. I can shift this around and yep, I can see a hole through that. This is good. Okay, so those are the first two steps. Next step, we've got to find something to put in this and we have a program that's called Thingiverse. And if we go to Thingiverse, let me see if I can shift this to Thingiverse. Oh, it's Thingiverse. Spelling counts. Thingiverse. And we like Thingiverse because there's thousands upon thousands of different designs here, and they are STL files. STL files are super important. So when I went to import this dungeon door, I got an error message saying that it was too big, big red letters, and so I'm not able to use this one. It's pretty large, so I need to find something else. So I'm going to go back up here and search. Let's see, what else could I do? Let's just find door again. Okay. So well, there's a tiny little door. I wonder if that would do. Let's keep looking. Here's where I fell in love with the dungeon door. Okay. Ooh, a dead mouse. Nice. These look like door stoppers, although that looks kind of fun. So it might take you some time to find a little door that you can print out. Let me see if this little fairy door works. Okay, so back down here, we're going to find files. Okay, ooh, it's a lot smaller. This is good. So I can go for, I like this one, it's a little thicker, so I'm going to download that one. And I'm just going to have it downloaded into my downloads so I can find it pretty easy. All right, there we go. Now we need to go back to our TinkerCAD. Okay, back to TinkerCAD. And then we need to import that image. So we're going to come up here with this big button here that says import. Click on that, choose file, and then we're going to go to downloads, and it should be right there, fairy door. Okay, open it up. There we have, it's in millimeters, and import. Ta-da! Now, it's too big. So what do we got to do? Well, we got to downsize it. But we got to downsize it, keeping in mind we don't want it to shift and look funky. So if I grab one of these corners, you see how I'm distorting it. And that's a problem. We don't want to distort the image. So I'm going to use my back button up here, and I'm going to use the Shift key, and then bring this down until it looks like it might actually fit. Let me see if that fits in there. Oops, it's underneath, so I'm going to have to look at it from the side. I can look at it from the right and see if I can get lift it up a bit. There we go. Okay, now let's go back to the top, back to home. So now I have my little door here, and is it in the spot I want it in? Let's see, let's go to the top. I can move this around. One of the things that's going to be really important though is let's take a look at how much it's embedded into the slab. Objects that aren't embedded into the slab don't stick to the slab, and so we got to figure out if this is actually embedded. One way to do this is to click on our slab here and just make it a hole for a minute. You can see if I'm looking at this, it is not sunk into the slab. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of maneuvering here. I might actually need to. So I'm going to need to push this down a bit. Nope, wrong thing. Let's click on the actual door here and see if we can get this embedded a bit. Okay, now let's take a look. Let's flip this around. Whoop, flip it around. and see, and then change that back to solid. See, now I've lost some features of the door. That's not a really good design. So, what am I going to do to fix this? Well, I just kind of mess around with it for a little bit. So I'm going to mess around for a little bit, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. What I did was I actually made this object thicker. And so if you take a piece, take a look at this, if I click on this part again and make it a hole, it's now embedded. So it's stuck inside this slab. Okay, if things aren't stuck inside, then they're not attached. They just print and they kind of brush their way off. So you'll lose this design. Okay, so let's turn this back into a solid. And let's see if we can. Let's just group that all so we can keep it all together. There we go. All right. There we have it. Yep, not too bad. All right, so what else do we need to do? We need to put some text on here. And so that's going to be, I'm going to grab the text over here. Okay. And I want to, let's bring this so I can see things better. So I have this text here, but I can use something else. Like the all caps because it really stands out, but you can change it to something different. And then you can change from different fonts. There's 4 of them. Like, do I like that one better? Or do I like that one better? Or do I like that one better? I kind of like that one. All right, so I need to rotate it. So I need to turn it 90 degrees, and if I hold it in here, I can click and just turn this until it reads -90. That works. And then I'm going to need to make it a little smaller. So I'm going to scrunch it. Whoops. Now see what happened there? I did not hold my shift key down. So I'm going to hold my shift key down, and I'm going to move this text so that it looks the right size. I'm going to slide it over there, and what happened to it? It's too far under. So raise it up. Might have to do some, I might have to bring it back out. Okay, so I'm going to raise it up here so that I can see it when I shift it over. And I can move it over with my arrow keys, and then I can look at it from the top. From the top. Oops, too close. Bring it back. All right, and too close to that. So we're going to click on that. I'm just going to move, don't want to move all that. Click on my text, use my arrow keys because it makes it really easy, and I'm going to change this because I want this to actually read garage key, or just garage. Yeah. All right. What's it looking like? Oh, that's kind of nice. Okay. So I can make some more adjustments. I'm actually going to go a little smaller on this. Click Shift, and then just bring this a little smaller, and then use my arrow key to bring it. Cool. All right, that looks good. Now, you can either have this, so if you look at it from the side where it's sticking out, again, make sure that it actually is setting inside, and it is. There we go. I can see it on the inside, so I can reverse that. Cool. But I don't know that I actually want it to stick out. I think I want it to be in, so I can make this a hole. So I click on the text, here, and I just make it a hole. Now I'm going to check and see if it didn't poke out the bottom by holding it all together and then grouping it. And then I want to make sure that my text does not poke through the bottom. That's one of those point subtractors. It does not. And so now this will be an embedded garage word along with my door here. And the door will be sitting up on top. Cool. All right, now got to take those corners off. The corners are not going to be very putting that in a pocket with corners like that. They're pretty sharp. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take this. I'm going to take this shape over here. Okay, we call that a wedge. So we got to get the right angle here. Do we want to go that way? Yeah. Okay, that's the way we want to go. Okay, like that. Cool. And let's go this way as well. Okay, so, and then let's bring this down to be, what, 6 centimeters? Sure, it's between 6 and 8 centimeters. So we're gonna kind of crop that out. So it'll fit nice on the, it'll fit nice on these corners. Let's try 7. Okay. Okay, now I can slide this over. Whoops, not that way. I'm going to click on this and slide this over, and it's going to cover up exactly that corner, and we're going to make it a hole. So it's going to slice off that corner. Whoops, not good there. I got to move that back out. Okay, use my arrow keys. I'm going to do a little overlap there, and I want to sink it down so that it is going through there. Okay. Now I can make a copy of that. So I can do it's a duplicate function. So up here there's this little, it says duplicate, and it's got all these little, and repeat. So I can click duplicate. Now where did it go? Well, it's in here. So I'm gonna take that one, click on it, and then slide it on over. Okay, and then I can turn that so that it faces in that corner. Oops, 90. And we can tuck that in. Really nice. Click on top, make sure we're getting those corners. Zoom in. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now I can click that one. And I can duplicate again. And I can duplicate again. And I can go, actually, I can do, this will be kind of cool. I can actually take these two and make sure they're in the right spots. Yep, I can take these two and I can highlight that one, and I can click shift and grab that one, and I now can duplicate them both. And then I can drag them on over there. Whoops. I can drag one over there, and I can drag one over there. And then we can just do that another 90-degree turn. Okay. Turn it that way. 90 degrees. And again, you can always type in the number once you got it clicked open. But that's just as good. Use some arrows and get us on the top here. So we can make sure that we got this in the corner. So they're all going to be the same size, which is nice. Okay, click on that one. Oops. No, that looks good. All right. Let's twist this around. See what we got. Yep. Oops, we missed a spot here. So you don't want to see that red there. So let's click on that. Use the arrow. Here we go. And that one doesn't look, that one looks a little close. Yep, we got to click these off. Move these over a little bit more. Cool. And that one looks good. It looks a little small. Okay, let's move that. Oh, do we have another one in there? We do. That's why. Okay. Zoom in. bring that out. And I think this one is not in far enough, but okay. Nope, it was fine. All right, leave that. Okay, select it all and see what happens when we group it. Woohoo! There we go. Excellent. Excellent. Only the hole goes through and all of that. Now, if you wanted to add something that was really fancy, you're welcome to do this. It's not required, but it is kind of a fancier design feature. We can make design features like if I wanted to put a square around the hole, remember this is already a hole, or I wanted to add a little bit more structure in here, I could bring a cylinder out here, okay, and, okay, and I can bring it down to, what the other hole was 5, so maybe I make the cylinder 7. Okay, and then we're going to center this over here. Okay, so we got to make it small because it's going to sit on the side. It's going to sit down here, so we're going to bring this down. So maybe it's just like that. So we'll have to see if we like that. And then if we go ahead and group all of that, that needs to go down farther. Let's bring it down farther. So we have to ungroup it all. We have to ungroup quite a bit here to see this one. There we go. That's the problem. Here we go. Now I can line these up better. And I think I'll just make that a little bigger. Let's do this 8. Again, this is just a little extra. It's a little design feature. You can add other little design features. You're not limited just keeping one of these. So let's go 8 and 8. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then let's move this with our arrow so it's just right above, as best as we can here. Okay, one thing you can also do, I'm down here in the bottom right hand corner and I'm going to change this to be very small movements. So instead of 1 millimeter movements, I can make it 0.1 millimeter movements, and now I can put that where I want it, and now I can click this and I'm using my arrow keys until it looks centered. Looks good. All right. Check things out. Okay, better sink that in. Let's put that in down a little farther. There we go. And group it. And that should be it. So, ooh, I like that. So there's my garage keychain. So I'll talk to you later about how to submit and turn this in. It basically is, you have to export it as an STL. So when you click export, you'll click and you made an STL file, and then you will need to copy that STL file into a Canvas assignment for those to be printed out. So that's it for now. Happy building.